So first and foremost,
I think the addition of pant leggings is really when you start to see your heroes get watered down.
can't even muster the ability to play straight pants for that one.
Which is a good argument for absolute rulers.
Everybody is going to get behind me. They're all going to love me, and my support numbers will go through the roof.
When you hang out with the hero, it doesn't go well for you.
My grandfather took the cob and just slid it right through the bar.
Oh, God. Okay.
And that became the dominant way our family did it.
Okay.
And so, in both of my marriages, they were treated to that.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Yeah, rage haiku.
How do you imagine the rubber chicken point?
My grandmother actually vacuumed in her pearls. Oh my God, it all makes sense. We'd had the sexual revolution.
It might have just been a Canadian standoff. We're going to go back to 9/11.
Dude, get over it. Nobody understands what the Bill of Rights is supposed to be.
Agra has no business being that thick.
When the cultists win, we all lose.
This is a Geek History of Time.
Where we connect nerdery to the real world. My name is Ed Blaylock. I'm a world history teacher who also dabbles in remedial reading. And for the last several months, as I've said repeatedly, I'm doing it through the magic of the interwebs. And on a personal note, I realized earlier today that my 2-year-old son turns into a Muppet when he gets excited. We went to the park.
Smashes his hands together and opens his mouth a lot and dances.
Yeah. Well, yes, that too. But we went to the park. So I mentioned in our last episode we're in quarantine because he tested positive for COVID. His mother and I both tested negative. We got retested today. We're waiting. It's going to be a tense 3 days until we get our results back. We went to the park because he went several days without getting any time outside at all. And we had a really rough night a couple of nights ago. Where it took close to 3 hours to get him to go to sleep because he was just it was bad. And he was just, oh God, it was heartbreaking. He was just so unhappy like all day. And so we've made a point of making sure to get him outside, get him some fresh air. And I took him to the park earlier, and we were blowing bubbles. We were well away from anybody else. It was 50 some degrees out, so there was hardly anybody outside. But we went to the park. And we're blowing bubbles, and he just got so excited, and he started making. At first, I thought it was like the first analogy that came to mind was Ewok noises. and then I said that to my wife after we got home. I said, "Yeah, he made Ewok noises." And of course, my wife is not a geek by birth. She's a geek by marriage. So she didn't immediately get Ewok noises. I'd say like Ewoks from Return of the Jedi. She went, "Oh, yeah?" And I said, "Well, okay, maybe it's more like Muppet noises." And she got that more quickly.
Sure.
But you know how very little kids, toddlers, will just make kind of noises.
Expressions of joy, yeah.
Yeah, he was just so amped, and
awesome.
Even thinking about it right now is this is why people have kids. Like, for those of you who are child free, congratulations on all the extra money you have in your bank accounts and the expensive hobbies you're able to maintain and stuff.
And
That's
the
awesome.
sleep
That's
that
wonderful.
you get,
and the sleep.
the sex that
Oh
you
my
can
God.
have.
Oh my God, the sleep and the sex. God Almighty, I miss it so.
Not having to choose between the two, not having one be the reason why you don't get the other.
Yeah, but with all of that being said, it was one of the moments where I went, right, this is why we did this.
Yeah.
This is why we were almost really, really sad when we thought we weren't going to be able to do this. This is okay. I get it now. I remember now. I'm reminded. So yeah, that's what I got going on. How about you, sir? Who are you?
Well, I'm Damian Harmony. I'm a Latin teacher from up here in Northern California. I am a father of 2 who just got kittens. And
okay,
yeah,
you're not saying that like very frequently I'll hear somebody say, "Oh, they had yeah, no, when you found out he had kittens." Like as
No.
as a kind of old-timey expression of like going hermitile.
Right.
That's not what you mean here.
No, I in fact mean that
No.
our household has increased its four-leggeds by triple what it had, and this time of the feline variety, not the canine variety. So,
Okay, I'm going to mathematically quibble a little bit. You had 1 4-foot. You now have 3.
right, so you've increased it by
Okay,
triple.
so you increased by 200%. The total is 300% of what it used to be.
Yeah, it's 300% of 100%. That's triple.
Yes, but the increase was a 200% increase. You had 1
Mm-hmm.
plus 200% of 1
Mm-hmm.
is 300%.
Yeah.
I'm being mathematically pedantic.
No, that's fine, but 300 is still
Yeah.
triple 100.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you
It tripled.
wound up with triple your. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. All right.
All right, so anyway, I've got 2 cats and a dog now. He barely notices them, which is cute. But the cats are the most opposite extremes of personality types as you could hope for from a cat. One I have yet to pet, and so have my kids. The other just snuggles and cuddles and all kinds of stuff. The one comes out and plays briefly while I can see it, and then all night long, the two of them just play and have a great time. The other plays all damn day and then sleeps and then waits for his brother to come out, basically. So it's been really cool because they say that you buy kids a pet to teach them responsibility. You don't. You buy kids a pet to teach them compassion, and through compassion comes responsibility. That's why you get responsible, is that sense of compassion.
I can see this.
They have to learn how to differentiate and hold back like their enthusiasm, because it's like, hey, if you do that, you will never see this cat.
Okay, and just to clarify, because I'm a cat person, and my family has 3 sets of 4-leggeds, all of them feline.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to say this. So, are you okay with giving out the cats' names?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because we
Nipper, if I remember right,
Mhm.
Nipper is the one that you are able to pet right now.
no, that would be
Nipper,
Saxon.
Nipper is the Saxon.
Saxon,
right?
yeah,
I love
Saxon
that name.
Brian,
It's awesome. Okay.
and Kipper Thomas.
Kipper.
Yeah.
Kipper.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kipper is the shy one,
Yes,
and Kipper is the tuxedo cat.
yes.
Okay. This is, by the way, guys, this is all on Facebook. If you find Damian there, you can see the pictures, because he's become just as obnoxious as the rest of us cat people are in the last few days. I just want to say, as your friend, I just want to say, I found it really entertaining.
Yeah, I bet.
And kind of affirming that oh no, it's not just me.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's okay. Once you get a cat, this is just a thing that happens.
Mhm.
Is your feed fills up with pictures of your cats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Saxon is
Mhm.
the love bug.
He is, and he cuddles on Skura, my dog, all the time. And he sits with my kids when they read, and it's cool because I'm teaching the kids. I'm like, if you're calm, he'll come to you, and he absolutely does. And Kipper is, if you're calm, you'll get to see him at the end of the day. And you just need to be more patient with him, because he will not be as forthcoming with his affections.
Yeah. What I'm gonna say, as a longtime cat owner,
Yes,
and with some experience with rescue cats in particular, if you are able to give him that space for long enough, I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I'm going to say it is entirely possible that he may wind up becoming truly the love bug.
That's what I thought.
Over time, once he gets comfortable, he may wind up becoming an even bigger lovey-dovey than Saxon.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
So like we rescued back earlier this year, we in our case, our motivation was not as noble as yours. Our motivation was entirely that my wife was getting very, very sad about the fact she didn't have a baby anymore. Robbie was getting too big. He was turning into a little boy as opposed to a baby anymore. And I really put my foot down that we're living in an apartment. There's no way we're getting a dog. Like, no. Like, it would not be fair to a dog.
Right.
To have a dog in our living circumstances. And up until, I want to say, year before last, we had 3 cats. Mm-hmm. 2 ginger buttheads and a long-haired Maine Coon.
You know, you don't actually have to say butthead. You could just say gingers and get the same idea across.
Yeah, well, they both deserve it. Sammy's my boy. I love him dearly, but he's a butthead. And so, you know, and Orville was 17 when we wound up having to put him to sleep because he was just becoming too feeble. His quality of life had fallen too far. And so he had been Leanne's little gentleman. He was really her cat. And so then we went for, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years, and she needed a baby. So we went to the animal shelter here in Sacramento, and we found a black and white little girl kitten. And it was important it had to be a girl, because she said, no, I've got you, I've got our little boy, and I've got our 2 male cats. I'm surrounded by testosterone. I said, well, you know, the 2 male cats are both fixed. And she said, yeah, so are you. And I said, no, I got to keep mine. They just don't work anymore.
They work fine. They just don't leak.
They just don't leak anymore. They're just not hooked up to anything. But that's a conversation for another time. Sometime, let me tell you about the conversation we had when we went to the fair last summer, and not this past summer, but summer of 2019, of course.
In the before times, yeah.
In the before times, yes. Before the dark times, before COVID.
Have you found yourself talking like the little kid refugees from Thunderdome? Like talking about the hockey clips?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So in the before times, you went to the fair.
Conversation when we went to the fair and we were looking at longhorn cattle and saw a steer, and she went, "Oh, hey, babe, you can talk to him."
I like your wife a lot. I don't know if she knows that, but please let her know.
No, she does know,
okay,
and
good.
I kind of hate both of you a little bit. I mean, I love you dearly, but God damn it.
Yeah, well, I'm not as neutering.
So anyway, so yeah. So anyway, so we wound up getting a female black and white cat named Luna, who fits really well with our younger ginger butthead named Ron.
Oh.
So yeah, because we took him home. Yeah, well, we took him home a couple of years ago, and he was a ginger, and showed a great many a very powerful personality. We were like, well, okay, clearly he has to be a Weasley,
right?
And so he became Ron, and then Luna actually came with her name, which I don't think was intended to be Luna Lovegood, but she is in fact batshit crazy, so it kind of fits.
Sure.
And she's also much smarter than Ronald, so that also fits. And the funny thing is, the 2 of them, at first, he was scared to death of her.
Oh wow, really fits.
Oh yeah. However, they have now gotten to the point where they are very clearly brother sister.
Nice.
Like they fall asleep on each other. It's adorable.
Nice.
And our oldest cat, Sammy, is just like, yeah, whatever, both of you, shut up, get off my lawn, fuck off.
Well,
so
I will.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I will share with you briefly the way in which we named our cats. I had the kids. My daughter loves being a chronicler, so I had her split the whiteboard in our hallway in half and write down names, just tuxedo Tabby, and then any name no matter how bad or how dumb it was, you throw it up there. So everybody just throws names up there, and we had just 2 lists, one for the tuxedo, one for the tabby. And at first, I was like, all right, put your initials next to the ones that you like. 3 initials is your favorite, 2 is your second favorite, 1 is your least favorite, and then all the rest, Well, the problem is we came up with so many names that there was no overlap. And I was like, well, fuck that idea. So then I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're gonna snake draft this. Okay, for those of you unfamiliar with the snake draft, person A, person B, person C. Person A chooses first, person B chooses second, person C chooses third and fourth, person B chooses fifth, person A chooses sixth and seventh. Once you're going,
So it's like the tartan pattern in a kilt. You go one way and then you turn around, you reverse it when you repeat it.
Yeah. So you go as the horse plows the field. And it was get rid of the names you don't like. So
okay,
Julia erase,
right.
William erase, I erase 2, William erase, Julia erase 2.
Okay,
And
right.
and it was erase the ones you don't like. Don't worry about you getting yours erased, because we all put a bunch on there. And we came down to Saxon being the name for the tabby. Cool. Simon was the name for the tuxedo. And Julia didn't like that. And I said, okay, well, tell you what. We will take Simon, because it did not get erased, and we'll put it at the top of the list for the, and we'll come up with a whole new list for the tuxedo. So now we've cleared the field, right? So boom, come up with a bunch. Simon came up again. And she was upset again, and I was like, wait a minute, you could have erased that name any number of times this time, and you didn't. And she's like, and I really like the name Simon too. And she says, yeah, but there were other names on there that I didn't like. Yeah. And she said, yeah, there were names on there that I didn't like more. And I'm like, that's fair. And then we got to the core of the issue, and she said, he got to name them both. I didn't get to name any. I said, okay, what if we go back to the last known name that we erased that was yours, because William got to erase 2, and one of them was her choice. And so Kipper. And then I talked to William. I said, are you cool with that compromise since you got to name the other one? He says, yeah, that's fine. So we have Kipper and we have Saxon. I said, great. You guys both realize that you both named the cats, and I didn't get to name them at all. They're like, yeah. I was like, compromise. I get their middle names. And so that's why we have Saxon Brian and we have Kipper Thomas.
I like it.
Yeah. So that
is A+ dadding right there.
I'll take it, because I taught them compromise. I taught them, all kinds of standing up for yourself. Yeah. It was good. Yeah. And so the cats are fun. So that's what's new in my world. We were talking last time about cartoons.
Yes.
And I would love to get back to that. Not that our audience in India and Italy isn't excited as hell about my cats. Because it's clear that they are.
Do we actually have an audience in India?
Yes.
India, really?
Yep.
Well, hi, folks.
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Shout out to our listeners in India. Yeah, we go from India to Italy. I was stricken by the fact that it was 2 I countries. I was like, all right, cool.
Holy moly!
Yeah.
All right.
So last time we talked about 4 different cartoons, and I figured this time we can talk about more. I'll go first, if that's okay.
Yeah, well, since you have 3 left and I have 1,
yep.
So you're going to need to start.
No, I have 2 left. 2 left.
Oh,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All
right. So the next one, you're going to dig this. Visionaries.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this one came out in 1987. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
And it's about a world where futuristic machines stopped working and they're thrown into a technological dark age. But there's also magic, and it's all due to a great conjunction.
Yeah.
This cartoon,
No, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
This cartoon includes the vocal talents of Peter Cullen. You might know him as Optimus Prime, Eeyore, Monterey Jack, and Xandar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly Optimus Prime, but yes.
Yeah. I just love that he did Eeyore and Monterey Jack, too. I was like, oh. And he was even Zartan's younger brother. I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Also included Jim Cummings. You would recognize
right.
him as Hondo from Rebels.
Yeah.
Also, Winnie
Very
the
cool.
Pooh,
Yeah.
Jumpy Squirrel, Tigger, Zummy Gummy, and also Monterey Jack.
Wait.
Yeah, there was weird
Switch off. Weird there.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right.
Also, Roscoe Lee Brown, who just has a badass name, but he was the narrator from Babe.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
So you have two sides. There are the Spectral Knights and the Darkling Lords.
Oh, see, okay, right there.
Uh-huh.
Right there. You give me a phrase like Darkling Lords. And I'm in.
Yes.
Like I'm in so hard. And what I really like about that is Spectral Knights.
Mm-hmm.
Very frequently when we hear the word spectral, we think of specter, like ghost or phantom or something like that. But in this case, it's talking about the spectrum.
Yes.
It's related to the spectrum of color because visionaries being the point. This is one of those cases. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm sure you have an answer to this, but I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say the idea for the toy line came up first, and then the cartoon showed up as like, hey, what can we do with this idea?
I think so.
Do you know?
I don't know for certain, but I do know that the toys were problematic to create. So I think the idea for the toy came up first.
Yeah.
But the cartoon was easier to produce than the toys.
Than the toys actually were. Well, yeah. And so now for those of you who are younger than Damian and I, what you need to understand when we talk about the toys being problematic to produce, the issue here is that every one of the toys, and I know this because I had two of them. I had Arzon of the Spectral Knights. And I had one of the Darkling Lords, but I don't remember which one because, frankly, the villains didn't have an awful lot of personality in the series. To me.
Do you remember what the hologram on him was?
I'm trying to remember. It was... No, I don't remember off the top of my head.
Do you remember the color of his armor?
Red and black, if I remember right.
Okay.
So, because Arzon was all shades of blue and silver, and he had a hawk. In the cartoon, he turned into a hawk. And so again, for our Zoomer and younger millennial listeners who don't have any recollection of this at all, the toys for this series had holograms, which were new. Fancy, oh my God, whoa, high tech kind of stuff in 1987, and so it had this 3-dimensional image that was very clearly a holographic photo of a whatever object, and the action figures had that in the center of their chest, and you could detach the little hologram off of their chest and move it around like they had turned into whatever their alternate form was. And so Arzon was a hawk. I don't remember what the other guy was. I want to say like a scorpion or something.
Spider dragon, maybe?
Could be.
Yeah, that would have been Kravex.
That sounds right. Mostly what I remember was his helmet. He had a helmet on that looked kind of like the helmet from the protagonist in Lady Hawk. Similar kind of visor. Similar kind of visor to it.
Yeah, and he had like a bent axe of some sort.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Weird looking. Yeah. And I was disappointed in the fact that because Arzon was like the concept of turning into a hawk was like really awesome to me, but I was really disappointed that his main weapon was like a weird mace axe thing.
Yeah.
That I think was very cool. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know if I've gotten ahead of what you were going to say about the cartoon by revealing all of that, but I remember those action figures vividly.
Oh yeah.
Vividly.
So these two sides fight against each other until Merklin challenges them to a contest. Not Merlin, Merklin.
Well, of course, because
Now the winners.
You can't just have Merlin there.
No,
that'd be stupid.
No, and murky,
Oh, all right, good point.
The winners of these various challenges are granted animal totems who go on their armor and allow them special powers. Some get staffs that need recharging in a pool that was a peace zone, which I thought was really cool. Now, the leader of the Spectral Knights is Leoric, who gets a lion on his chest. Get it? Leo.
Yep.
Cool wisdom-based powers, actually.
Yeah.
Darkstorm is his Darkling counterpart, who gets a snail on his chest for being, quote, all-around slimy. Like, Merklin says that to him.
Wow. I had forgotten that entirely.
Yeah. And he can
so
rot
he
stuff.
kind of got... And he can what?
He can rot stuff.
Oh, okay. So that makes up for having a shitty animal totem.
Well, and it was
pretty...
because he had he had slimed his way past someone. Like, he was really schemy and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I mean, let's make him the slowest crawler there is, but then let's give it nefarious capabilities.
Yeah. Nurgle.
Yeah.
Sorry, for my fellow 40K fans in the background, Nurgle. Just saying. Chaos god of decay, rot, corruption.
There you go. There you go. Now, each of these guys has lieutenants and followers with different awesome abilities. It's basically a King Arthur story, but with technological twists and the holograms and magical twists of the totems.
And in the Arthur legends, there was not an anti-round table.
Right.
That's a new twist. It's. I remember the cartoon, and I remember even as in. Did you said it was 87?
87.
Okay, so that would have been 6th grade, so it was 12. Even as a 12-year-old, I was like, well, okay, I mean, the guy's name is Merklin, and, obviously this is King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
Right.
But the introduction of no, it's not just that. There is an anti-round table. They're
it's Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
And that brought the twists.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Well played. Well done, sir.
So...
Well done. I'm not even mad about that one. Those two, really. But there we go.
Yeah. Well, let's see. It looked awesome. There was a comic book. There was a toy line that was pretty rad. And what I liked was that there were overall plot arcs. It wasn't just bottle episodes like many of the other cartoons in the mid to late 80s. Now, the appeal, of course, is the armor and the knight motif. Secondarily, though, the world that it built was a world where things used to work one way, but now they don't. And I thought that was a nice deepening of a wrinkle. Like, it was not just G.I. Joe versus Cobra. Like, G.I. Joe versus Cobra was very flat, but the depth they found was in character development. And even that, it was still kind of a return to Coda at the end of it all. But, Mainframe still had had feelings for Zartana. And stuff like that. You did have some character development, but in this you had world development, and heroes and villains are similarly affected by this, which means that both are imperiled in a way that brings out their true natures, hence the totem stuff. And it's a large ensemble, so there's a lot of characters that can develop throughout the series. Someone surely would have become the comic relief, and the upright nature of all the knights could have gotten challenged or seduced. And unlike G.I. Joe or Transformers, the other two big ensembles of their time, the villains are actually competent and kind of interesting. Often, I think, more than the heroes. Now,
okay, the villains being more interesting than heroes is just that's a thing.
Yeah.
Because as people in the world, we all identify with the hero, or we all realize that we should want to be the hero.
Right.
But we identify with whatever it is we see in the villain that, is our own perceived flaw, weakness,
That's true.
And so that's the reason that, everybody roots for the hero, but everybody also, gets a kick out of a really good villain.
True.
Because
that's true.
There's that, and there's the escapist nature of if I could just be as charming as Tom Hiddleston's Loki for 24 hours.
Sure. Yeah.
That's yeah. So I mean, that's just a thing. But yeah, no, the characters not being cardboard cutouts,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is a recurring theme in all of the series that we're talking about. Is that I think most of these series, Tiger Sharks maybe not so much, but the rest of what we're talking about is part of the reason we want to see more of this is because the writers were actually like, no, seriously, let's spend some time thinking about these people.
Well, I would push back a little bit. There's one that I'm going to bring up later where it's all cardboard cutouts, and that's the point.
Okay.
So it's going to be fun.
Okay.
But so in this series,
but okay.
In this series, good was good, okay, but it doesn't mean that they were competent or even right.
Or necessarily nice.
Right. And so there was this mild subversion of the value of order throughout the entire series, even though it's knights and lords. Now, unfortunately, it only got one season of 13 episodes.
Yeah. What is with you?
I don't know.
Episodes? Like, holy shit.
I don't know. Now, it was canceled for the same reasons that Transformers, Gem, My Little Pony were canceled, and for the same reason that G.I. Joe went to Deke. Hasbro and Marvel Sunbow ended their business relationship, and that was it.
Really?
That was the only reason.
No shit.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Like I cannot begin to tell you how disappointed I am to hear that like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Like, that actually disappoints me even more than the reason why my number one series got canceled.
Speaking of which
I haven't gotten to yet. But,
why don't you get to it? Unless you want to talk a little more about Visionaries first.
Well, I want to spend a second more on Visionaries because it really captured my imagination in a really big way.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually does kind of tie into the next series that I'm going to talk about.
I have a Visionary story, just so you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you do your thing first. You
well, okay. Well, what I'm going to do actually means kind of starting with my number one series. So I want to hear your Visionary story, and then I'll kind of tie Visionaries into what I'm talking about with the other one.
I was a freshman or a sophomore in high school. Okay. And I befriended an upperclassman, and he and I got to talking about Visionaries. And then one evening, we hung out, and we went to Blockbuster. And we picked up Visionaries.
Holy shit.
And we watched it.
Okay. Yeah.
And there you have two high school guys. Not talking about girls, not getting high, not anything. Just watching Visionaries.
Well, we know not getting high because it's you. But
right, yeah. But just watching Visionaries.
There you go, man.
It's just...
I mean that's a defining moment of like, when you really knew you were a geek, but like,
and being excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fucking awesome.
Yep.
Like, dude. No, my last series is Thundar the Barbarian.
Mm.
And it's a Hanna-Barbera property.
Mm-hmm.
It ran from 80 to 81. And then did a very short period of time in syndication. So my memories of it are from when I was very young.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is...
they're from when I was very young.
Oh, fuck you. Like, no, dude. Come on. I was 7. That counts as very young. So, Thundar the Barbarian was a Saturday morning cartoon.
I was 3.
Yeah, whatever. Bite me. And it was created by Steve Gerber.
Of the Gerber knife family, yeah.
Funny. No, it's the...
No, the baby food fortune, yeah.
No. Howard the Duck.
Oh, okay. That was my fourth guess.
Yeah, okay. As a Marvel guy, I'm surprised you didn't go to that quicker. But he's notably he's the creator of Howard the Duck. He's a Eisner Hall of Fame comic book writer, and he's also well known to really hardcore comic book fans as the author of a very important run of Marvel's Man-Thing.
Okay.
And so he came up kind of with the basic idea, and he brought in Jack Kirby.
Him I've heard of. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, who needs no introduction, to do the visual design for the show.
Okay. Wow.
So
Whoa. Back it up.
Pedigree.
He's doing, Jack Kirby's helping him on that. This is the same time that Spider-Friends is out. Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah.
Stan Lee's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the show has like a serious pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like so much other stuff in the early 80s, and this is kind of how it kind of ties into Visionaries. It's a post-apocalypse storyline.
Okay.
So Visionaries, of course, there's a planetary conjunction that, reawakens magic and causes technology to fail.
Right.
Okay, introduces a new dark age with magic and, Arthurian themes.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, and this is part of the intro to the show. At the beginning of every episode, they told you a runaway planet passes between the Earth and the Moon in 1994.
Okay. It does the standard just a little farther into our future than we are.
Only even a shorter period of time than normal, because what you point out regularly and what we've established is usually it's like 30 years. It's like, okay, let's do one demographic generation forward.
Yeah.
In this case, it was 13. It was half that time. So anyway, 1994, causing massive devastation and reawakening magic. So there's our parallel to Vision.
Yeah.
The story takes place then several hundred or even 1,000 years after that. We don't really know for sure. After New Earth has settled into a new equilibrium with weird climate changes and a moon that has visibly been cracked in half.
Oh wow.
Like part of the visual shorthand for, hey kids, we're in a post-apocalypse, was in the night sky the moon was visibly
jagged
in two different pieces.
Yeah.
Okay, floating. I mean, like orbiting next to each other, but still clearly very separate. And so the story centers on our main character, the titular Thundar the Barbarian.
Mm-hmm.
Thundar's boon companion Ukla the Mock, who is very clearly a Wookiee, but not a Wookiee. Speaks and growls and snarls, and big 8-foot tall hairy thing with a monstrous kind of face.
Mm-hmm.
And funny story about Ukla. The Gerber and one of his comic writer friends who he'd brought in to help him with the project were going on a walk in the evening, and they were talking about this idea, and Gerber was really angry that the network was basically saying, no, you got to have this 8-foot tall hairy Wookiee character. It was like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't even know what to name the guy. And they were walking past the UCLA campus. And his friend turned to him and said, how about you name him Ukla?
That's so bad.
There you go. Yeah, no, but
it's great,
but it's awesome.
Yeah.
And so Ukla the Mock. And so, and then the third member of the heroic trio is Ariel the Sorceress. And she has magical abilities specifically focused around being able to create like barriers and bridges of light energy, and she can blast foes with light, like magic missile kind of spell stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, her costume basically looks like a one-piece swimsuit because it's 1980,
right?
And it's and the thing is, the storyline, okay, the characters are very heavily influenced by Star Wars because, like, Ukla is clearly a fucking Wookiee.
Mm-hmm.
Thundar carries the Sun Sword, which is a hilt that is attached to his forearm. He's got a bracer. this
Okay.
with this gold-colored hilt on it that he's able to detach, and an energy blade springs out of it, and it's really clearly a lightsaber. He has blonde hair that's in very clearly a 1980 version of a Luke Skywalker, Cassidy haircut.
Right.
I mean, there's so many things about this that are like, okay, so you're borrowing an awful lot from Star Wars. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of derivative stuff there because, like, this made a shit ton of money. Hey, and so we have all these elements that are very clearly, influenced or, lifted from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And the storylines are all pretty, like the plot lines of the stories are all pretty formulaic. But the world building in this is absolutely amazing. From the opening credits of every episode, you see that there is an entire planet
Mm-hmm.
of weird shit. And our main character and his sidekick and his kind of romantic interest, like it's clear that they have feelings for each other, but they never admit it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He never admits it. Like it's clear she likes him, and he kind of admits that she matters to him, because 80s masculinity.
Right.
But and kids show, so like how much can you really do? But
Sure.
but it is this wonderfully weird, and I mean that in the sense of like weird fiction kind of way. Every episode or every story arc, because they would have story arcs that would involve more than one episode to resolve,
Mm-hmm.
and in one of them, a sorcerer, some wizard, has wound up in a position of dominance over some innocent group of people. And Thundar and Ukla and Ariel are, liberating one group of people after another from the machinations or domination of one wizard after another.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this wonderful blend of magic, like no kidding, weird fiction, sorcery, magic from beyond the stars, weirdness stuff with super technology. Like one of the wizards has super tanks with laser cannons, because this all, the cataclysm took place in 1994. So that's all
Right.
technology from before the fall, and it's the feel of sorcery and super technology was very like Blackmore D&D,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be willing to bet money that when Kevin Shimbieta, or however you pronounce his name, wrote Rifts in 1990,
Mm-hmm.
Thundar the Barbarian was one of his influences.
Oh yeah.
Because the whole idea of Rifts, of course, for anybody not familiar, is there's a massive cataclysm as magic returns to the world, ley lines open up, and magical energy is released, and Earth becomes a like Grand Central Station in a massive interdimensional set of like it's a link between multiple different dimensions and universes and everything. And like when and so you have super technology and giant robots and powered armor and laser weapons, and you have wizardry and demons and all of that.
Sure.
And so like looking at Thundar the Barbarian and looking at Rifts, I'm like, there's no way this wasn't an influence somehow.
Right.
And all of the background art in Thundar is this amazing, like, tell Steve Kirby or Jack Kirby, sorry, don't know where that came from. Tell Jack Kirby, I want you to do post-apocalypse and have the apocalypse happen 20 years in the future, and just let him run with it. And like, I want everybody in our audience who knows who Jack Kirby is to imagine that for a moment, and then let me tell you, it's even better than that.
Nice.
Like, and it only got 2 seasons.
Okay.
80 and 81, and it got shelved in favor of Laverne and Shirley in the Army.
I remember that one.
Like I want to find the executive of the network who made that decision, and like I don't even know what I want to do with them, but I want to do something to them. I just want to slap them repeatedly. Like,
Yeah.
Really? You have Jack fucking Kirby doing the art for this. You have a guy who's going to go on to become a Hall of Fame comic book writer doing the development and the writing for the storyline for this show, and you're going to replace it with what? Like, not even anything that makes you any fucking money. Like,
Right.
if it was, like, how does this fucking happen? So and what I find interesting, talking about this thematically, because when we talked about doing this episode, we told each other kind of what some of our series were going to be, and I knew you were going to be doing Visionaries.
Yeah.
Because we both mentioned Visionaries, and I was like, no, you do Visionaries. I got another one that I want to do instead, and this was it. And what strikes me is, so Thundar is 80-81, Visionaries is 87, and in both cases we have a post-apocalyptic storyline.
Yep.
And we have the overt mention of technology failing or being sidelined in favor of magic and sorcery.
True.
And I think it's interesting what that says about the popular mindset of the people who were writing this stuff in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of Thunder, of course, 80 is the year Reagan got elected.
Yeah.
We were staring down the barrel of nuclear annihilation. I find it interesting that this apocalypse is not a nuclear apocalypse. It's a cosmic apocalypse. It's caused by a runaway planet, which scientifically would be a rogue planet. But anyway, in 80, of course, the second oil crisis was basically just behind us.
Right.
And so, and so there was a very strong post-apocalypse feel to everything about Thundar.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, and the emphasis was not so much on the apocalypse, it was on this is a new world.
Yeah.
And I find it interesting, the focus in Thundar on the transformation of the world, 100 years, 1,000 years, however long it was after the fact, as opposed to what you pointed out in Visionaries, that apocalypse was like last week.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in Visionaries was still working to try to figure out how to get used to
right.
this new, it's like the difference between The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, thematically. And I just, so I mean, that's kind of where my head goes thinking about those two series.
Well, if you think about The Day After comes out 2 years later.
This is true.
Post-apocalyptic stuff is been there since the 70s, really, because you had the late great Planet Earth. You had, there's a lot of apocalyptic writing in the 70s. Yeah. Because I don't know I do know what was going on in the 70s, but I also know that there was the influence on religion as well regarding the 1970s, because you had the evangelical Christian movement and the concept of rapture shifted from a secular Christianity of activism and making the world a good place so that when Jesus comes, he's going to be happy with the job that we did, to when Jesus comes
coming, everybody look busy.
Yeah, well, not just look busy, but like he's going to pluck me off of this planet and fuck all y'all.
Yeah.
So he was not eminent, but imminent, and there's a decided shift there.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a very definite shift in focus.
So, and I think
toward-
if you look
toward
at,
we have to make sure we are the elect when he comes,
and if you look,
as opposed to we got to make the world ready for him.
and if you look philosophically, existentialism gave way to absurdism. Absurdism gave way to deconstructionism.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and
You're not wrong.
deconstructionism gave way to postmodernism, and all of those are inherently self-centric, and people are looking inwards. So an apocalypse doesn't seem like an unreasonable thing to expect or to be focused on, because apocalypses tell us about ourselves. They tell us about what we would do in a stressed situation.
Okay.
So
I can see that. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, and everybody was operating with the kind of idea that we were at 5 minutes to midnight.
yes. Yeah.
And so anybody's theory about what that midnight might look like was of interest. If
Absolutely.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
way I'm saying that.
So I think that's why you're going to end up with
yeah.
more apocalyptic type stuff.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
When the United States Department of Defense is actively pursuing mutually assured destruction as,
As a way to stay safe. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
okay, wait, let me think this through for a minute. Like, and the thing is, post facto, we can look at the thought process. I don't want to say logic, because it's like logic.
It has an internal logic.
Emotionally,
Yeah.
It has an internal logic, but
Yeah.
logic emotionally doesn't feel like it fits.
Right.
But you look at the internal logic of the thought process, and you're like, okay, I can see how you got there.
Mm-hmm. The
Like,
premise
what
is
the
flawed.
fuck?
Yeah.
But retroactively, what the fuck, man? Like,
Well, speaking of
You know.
what the fuck, man, I have
Okay.
2 cartoons left.
okay, go.
The first one is the Inhumanoids. Have you ever heard of the Inhumanoids from 1986?
Oh, I think I have.
This is a Sunbow cartoon, and it was part of an effort to run cartoons on Sunday mornings too.
Right.
And Inhumanoids totally felt like a Sunday morning cartoon. It was the B squad of cartoons. There was less pizzazz. It was also run on syndicated networks because football was on the big 3.
Oh, dude, I remember this one.
Yes.
I remember this one. This one fucked me up.
It fucked a lot of people up.
I'm not even.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is horror meets cartoons on Sundays.
Yeah.
This featured the vocal talents of Michael Bell, who played Duke in G.I. Joe. He played Drew Pickles in Rugrats, and Lance in Voltron. It had William Calloway, who did Aquaman in Super Friends, and Professor Keenbean in Richie Rich. And it had Ed Gilbert, Baloo from Tailspin, and the priest from Johnny Got His Gun.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's a group of people called Earth Corps, and they are subterranean explorer scientists in clunky personal armor. And they accidentally are going to unleash evil creatures from under the ground. They find Decompose, who's encased in amber in Big Sur, and they unleash him unwittingly.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's oh my god,
Yes.
the level of
Do you remember his voice?
eldritch horror.
Decompose.
No, I don't remember the voice, but I remember. Is that the one with the exposed rib cage and the skull?
Yes.
Yeah. Fucked me up.
Yeah. Now there's a bad guy industrialist named Blackthorn Shore, and he sees profit in these explorations. And
Such a great fucking villain name. So awesome.
He unleashes Tendril, a monster that frees Decompose, who is on display in San Francisco. And I think that's what really twigged me about this cartoon. It was based in a city that I knew. So most cartoons were set really far away from me, and this was all in California, and it was for the most part in San Francisco. Now, the Earth core are aided by sentient redwood trees, an ancient race called the Mutores or Mutors, who have sealed the evil subterraneanly. The leader of the Inhumanoids is a guy named Metlar, and he's kept in prison by Magnacore, another Mutor who's keeping the Titan at bay. Now, eventually, the government gets involved and summarily cuts the budget of the very people who are trying to keep evil underground, which then enables the evil Blackthorn Shore Corporation to use his own metal magnetic suit, schematics which he'd stolen from Earthcore, like a good industrialist would, to control the evil that is Metlar. Of course, guess what happens with, he's powered by hubris. Yeah. So the whole series has a full plot that we can actually follow.
Powered by hubris.
Look for the H label.
That needs to be on TV tropes somewhere. Powered by hubris. I love that. That's brilliant. Okay.
So there's an actual plot that we follow all the way through. It's not bottle episodes, and there's several subplots that are also playing out. There's a ton of environmental stuff that's tied into what happens when these malevolent creatures rise up and affect the world that we live on, and they make use of nuclear armament build that has occurred during the Cold War, as well as an effort to work together with Soviets to stop these issues. So there's a lot of taking on glasnost and perestroika. There's a lot of taking on mutual arms reductions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this show is deep. No pun actually intended.
Which is rare.
I know.
On this show.
It's got horror elements. It's kind of reminiscent of Lovecraft.
It's immensely reminiscent. I mean, speaking as the guy who, tangentially referenced Lovecraft when talking about Howard.
Mm-hmm.
That's, decompose is, and I mean, let's talk about Tendril for a second.
Yeah.
Is like
pretty clear.
Obviously a Cthulhu XP. Like, towering figure, tentacles, tendrils.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like might be a mollusk, might be seaweed. We don't know.
Right.
Like,
and it feels very Greek Titan. I can't say that. Titanomachy. Thank you.
I'm guessing
it's got that too. You're keeping these things under wraps. It's got character development. Permanent things actually happen to the characters, and there's a lot of internal struggles for some of them. So it was just really different from the rest of the cartoons that we saw in '86, and it was one of the first proto-environmental cartoons, and it took it on in a very different way.
Yeah.
And I really want to dive into that a little bit. Scientists talked to trees for advice on things that they were clearly going to impact the world in a horror-based environmentalist way. It also had political corruption and corporate backing of that same thing as a backdrop to what's going on with a Senator Masterson, who is a do-nothing senator who cuts the funding at Shore's request.
Right.
Highlighting
shitbag.
Yes.
Shitbag politician.
That's right.
In the pocket of a massive conglomerate. Yeah. I vaguely, I never caught very many episodes of this, but I remember, like I said, it fucked me up because Decompose was like terrifying.
Yeah.
Like I remember thinking at the time, like, this is a cartoon?
Yeah.
Holy moly. Yeah.
This highlights the importance of a budget when it comes to power over scientists and the ambitions that politicians seek to wield.
How fucking adult is that?
Right? He decides to run for president, and he gets easily manipulated by Shore and Metlar. I would just point out, you have a guy who decides to run for president who is easily manipulated by a foreign power and corporations.
Yeah.
He bumbles. He has no real platform. He tries to crib talking points from his opponents for president. At one point, he says he's a, quote, conservative liberal and a liberal conservative. Little did we know that would actually work in the 90s.
Sadly.
But this was back when those terms meant stuff. And he's an idiot running for president on a populist platform who comes dangerously close to getting into office. I mean, could you imagine?
Does it still count? Does it still count as dangerously close if somebody succeeds?
That's even more
Is
dangerously
that dangerously close, or
yeah.
is that a different
dangerously
thing?
dead on? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck me.
Now, do you remember in G.I. Joe that there was a reporter whose name was Hector Ramirez, and he was questioning the value of G.I. Joe?
Yeah.
He's in this.
Vaguely.
He's in this.
Wait. Back up.
Yeah.
Back
Yep.
the fuck up.
Yep.
The same character.
Same character. And he
so
was...
this literally happens in the G.I. Joe universe.
Well,
Like, we could point to a concrete link.
Yes. Well, not only that, this also exists in the Gem and the Holograms universe.
Fuck you.
the Geraldo Rivero
What?
send-up of Hector Ramirez exists in all three. He's the host of 20 Questions.
You what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Folks in the listening audience, you cannot see my face, but like my mind is blown here. Like, wait.
Yeah.
You're telling me
Mm-hmm.
Inhumanoids, Gem and the Holograms, and G.I. Joe all happen in the same universe?
Yes. And the
And
Inhumanoids. Yeah.
How? Dude.
Yeah.
This is literally earth shattering. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, and as the host of 20
I
Questions.
want to see that. Okay, somebody on the internet already knows this. I need to find the fanfic crossover here.
And as the
Like,
host
I
of
need
as the
to
host
find
of
it.
20 Questions, he generally just gets in the way, bumbles his way through, tries to be sensationalistic, and then he tries to get his Q factor up as much as possible.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. So this
because it was the okay. This was 87,
this was 86.
86.
Yeah.
So this is
It's right after he opened Al
it's
Capone's
late,
vault.
It's late. Well, it was late Reagan era.
Yeah.
is what I'm getting.
Yeah.
So portrayal of the media is going to be colored by that.
Yeah. Well, and Geraldo Rivera being really popular,
Being
Yeah.
who he was. Yeah,
So.
and still is really actually.
oddly.
Hi, Geraldo. How you doing?
So this show,
If we actually get his attention, I'll be stunned. But
yeah. So
Geraldo, fuck you. Anyway, moving on. Sorry.
this show was canceled because the toys were too big to be affordable by the parents.
Yup.
So Sunbow said you can stay on for the full run of 13 episodes, again, provided that you let us advertise other products for more successful series on it.
Wow. How obviously crassly capitalistic manipulative can you possibly be?
Yeah.
Wow. So I want to say,
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing a decompose
Yes,
figure.
because you could put other figures inside it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
his ribcage opened up.
Mhm.
Like,
Mhm.
oh my god, it was fucking terrifying.
Yeah, it was
like,
iconic. Yeah.
yeah,
And there was slime that you could pour over it.
Oh yeah, no, it's yeah, like there was a combination of fascination and absolute horror involved.
Mhm.
Because it was basically a horror cartoon. Let's not lie.
Mhm.
And yeah, I remember seeing it. I remember looking at it, going, "Oh my god, that's huge." And I remember personally having like no interest in it at all. I gotta admit, like I remember seeing a couple of episodes of the show and realizing this is a big idea show,
Mhm.
and not really wanting to engage with it
Yeah.
very much beyond that. Like I feel like this is a case of like nowadays a series like this could do really well on a niche network like Cartoon Network,
Sure.
as an animated series for adults.
Mm-hmm.
But because of Animation Ghetto in the 80s, it was targeted at kids. And on the one hand, that's kind of cool because let's not talk down to kids. But on the other hand, it was clear that the writers really had a lot of stuff they wanted to do. That it's like, you really need to be given a budget and like the freedom to engage an older audience.
Yeah.
Like look at what has been done with She-Ra and the Princesses of Power and Voltron on Cartoon Network now, and be like no, we're not targeting 8-year-olds. We're targeting 20-year-olds. We're targeting I think for everything that you've talked about with what it had to say about politics, what it had to say about all of those themes, I really genuinely, I totally agree with you. This deserves more time and attention, and I really want to. I would want to see this revived by Cartoon Network for an adult audience, because there's so much that could be done with this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now the last one I'm going to close with may well be my favorite on the list.
Okay.
And it is called The Toxic Crusaders.
Okay.
It's a cartoon that was based on the Toxic Avenger.
Toxic Avenger,
which was
a Troma film.
R-rated drama film, and it was in this cartoon is grotesque and brilliant overall.
Okay.
So it featured the vocal talents of Roger Bumpus, who'd later go on to be Squidward.
Okay.
Chuck McCann, who was Duckworth in DuckTales.
Yeah.
And Katie Soucie, famous for being Lola Bunny, and also Janine from The Real Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, do you know this cartoon at all or no?
I remember like title cards.
Okay.
I never watched it.
Yeah.
Because it was a bit outre for me.
Sure. It has it has one of the best
I'm the
theme
conventional
songs.
one of the two of us,
Sure.
so clearly
it has one of the best theme songs there was. There, Toxic Crusaders, and then some words explaining what happened to them very specifically, and then Toxic Crusaders.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's, how much time are we really going to spend on developing lyrics for this? Like,
yeah.
Let's
it's a minute and
introduce
6 seconds long. The song was, but it absolutely talks about like how he got started, and it tells you the very specifics of like there's no subtlety in their song. It's great. So you follow a character named Toxie, who is a janitor turned superhero with tremendous strength and endurance, due to falling into a vat of toxic chemicals at the gym that he's a janitor at.
Yeah.
Now, at the time, he was wearing a tutu, and because he had to dress up for something, I forget exactly what, and holding onto a mop. Now, the mop, named Mop, was also imbued with toxic superpowers.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a singing sword, except it doesn't sing. It's a dancing sword.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He's
a dancing mop.
Yeah. He's joined by No Zone, who is a pilot who flew through the ozone layer and then crashed into a silo of radioactive pepper.
Ozone layer.
Mm-hmm.
80s. This was a big fucking deal.
Uh-huh. So is Toxic Sludge, by the way.
Well, yeah. But we heard a lot more in detail about the ozone layer as school kids.
That's very true.
And it's interesting. The scientists responsible for chlorofluorocarbons, the chemicals
CFCs,
for damaging the ozone layer, is the same guy who developed methylated lead in gasoline.
Well, he just was. Was he trying to beat the guy who came up with chemical weapons in World War I? Like, what the shit?
You kind of wonder, don't you? Yeah, no, that's a remarkably fascinating and like, who the fuck is this guy? Yeah. Note out of A Brief History of Everything by Bill Bryson.
Okay.
Which I highly recommend as a book because you learn shit like that out of it. and it's written very entertainingly in general.
All right.
But yeah, wow. So
So,
yeah,
yeah.
because in the 80s, of course, as school kids, we were bombarded
Yeah.
with the recently discovered understanding that holy shit, CFCs are destroying the ozone layer. We got to stop using these things.
Yes.
And that's like the only sort of kind of environmental victory, like real victory I can think of in the course of my lifetime, is that the ozone layer has largely recovered.
Yeah.
Because we figured out we were fucking it up and we stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Turns out we could actually do shit when we listen to science.
When we all decided to listen to scientists
Yeah.
and follow their recommendations, we could fix things. Like, wow.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're also joined by Major Disaster, who is a military man who fell into a radioactive swamp and got the power to control plants, which is my favorite guy in the series because of reasons that I'll illuminate in a minute.
Okay.
There's also Headbanger, who is a conjoined scientist and telegram delivery boy. They both fell into an atom smasher at the same time and ended up fused. Now, originally, this mono duo worked for Dr. Killimoff to do evil stuff, but they switched sides because women liked Toxic Crusaders better.
Okay, wait.
Yep.
His name was literally Dr. Killimoff.
Yes.
I love how that manages to be completely on the nose and vaguely Russian at the same time.
Yes.
Not even vaguely. Fuck
Yeah.
vaguely.
Yeah.
It's just like, no. Wow.
And finally, you get the character Junkyard, who is a homeless man and a dog that were fused together by lightning and a toxic sludge spill onto both of them.
Okay, so see, you started out with a lightning, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And then you got
Toxic,
to the
yeah.
Okay, all right.
Now, their antagonists are Tsar Zosta, who is the ruler of Smogula, a different planet. And his chief agent is Dr. Killimoff, who has to wear a rebreather when he's on healthy planets. Psycho is the Cassandra of the bad guys, who always tells them in excruciating detail the entire plot of the episode, and then they do stuff anyway, and then he tells them.
Okay.
Bonehead is similar to Toxie. In fact, he was one of the gym rat bullies who led to Toxie's accident, and then he got the same from Toxie. And then there's a bunch of others that the Fab Four take on. Now, it was a tremendously subversive cartoon. Think of all the heroes. Just think of the heroes. They're all hideously deformed in some grotesque way, and yet they're heroes. So I love that already.
Yeah, right off the bat, I could tell this is going to be fucking catnip for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
yes.
But
Right.
also, you have a janitor, working class. You have a scientist who's stuck to a delivery boy. So you've got the merging of the working and the professional classes. You have a homeless man, and you have two military men.
Okay. Yeah.
Now this is a huge inversion of your standard Marvel and DC heroes, where they're classically beautiful, except for, of course, the Fantastic Four, which I talked about before.
Which we've gone into, which you went into in remarkable detail.
Yeah.
Previously, yes.
Now, these guys are regularly roasting the lack of environmental policies and efforts, and they're doing it in 1991. And they even lightly roast false activism with the character Mr. Earth, who does more harm than good.
Okay, wait, back up. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, Mr. Earth.
Yes.
Sounds an awful lot like Captain Planet.
Doesn't it?
Oh my
Doesn't
God. Wow.
Now, this predates Captain Planet, but only by a few years.
Really?
Yeah,
Captain
this is
Planet was
91.
later than that?
I want to say Captain Planet was 94, but I might be off by a year or two, because I usually am. So, yeah, Mr. Earth does a lot more harm than good. Now, these guys are common folks with common sense solutions to the problems that they see. They even take on the need for rent control in their final episode.
Really?
Yes.
Rent control specifically?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Captain Planet did come out the year before, so I was wrong.
Okay, yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
Yeah.
Mr. Earth cartoon.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
yep. So, at the end of it, like I said, they're fighting to bring they're fighting a corporation basically, that is trying to bring them to account while being environmentally safe. So they're trying to create rent control. They're trying to show why this corporation is bad, and they're trying to be environmentally safe. Now, sadly,
Wow.
they had planned a crossover with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it never happened.
That would have been perfect.
Yep. It's like, hey,
That
you were
would've,
made by Sludge
like,
too.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Now, the reason why is because they were canceled. Would you like to guess how many episodes they got?
13.
13. So I am 5 for 5 or 6 for 6. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And this deserves
I'm
so
pretty
much
sure
more.
Eastman and Laird would have been like totally on board with that crossover.
Yes.
Like,
So in 91, there was so much more you could have taken on. And you could have used those as breaks between the fights with the agents of Smogula. You had a homeless hero. You had a class struggle hero. You had a split personality class struggle hero. You had 2 military heroes whose pensions were never discussed. You had
whose disability benefits were never discussed.
You had
let's have a real conversation about the VA.
Yeah.
Shall we?
They absolutely could have done that.
Well, you're not actually suffering any kind of disability because you got superpowers. So
right.
Sorry.
Yeah. You didn't disclose those superpowers when you signed up. We actually need to take back your signing bonus.
Yeah.
That could absolutely be an episode.
Yeah. That'd be totally an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This show was so self-aware that it makes Tiny Toons and Animaniacs seem dim-witted by comparison.
I'm sure.
Like it just like the Cassandra of the group that I told you about. It's a Psycho. The shit that he would say to Dr. Killamoff, and he would then just turn to the screen and blink while Dr. Killamoff came up with reasons why it didn't work. The cancellation might just be due to the fact that environmental saturation in cartoons existed at the time. Like we were saying, Captain Planet seemed to have everything pretty well cornered there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles also were dealing with things like that.
Had some points they brought up. Yeah, I can see that.
But this show had cartoons and comic books and a video game, and it had a video game on the Sega Genesis.
I vaguely remember that.
Yes, it was so grotesquely fun and satirical. So
see, and this is another one. This is another one that, like, if anybody in our listening audience knows anybody who works for Cartoon Network or knows anybody who works for Cartoon Network, like, talk to them.
Yes.
Like,
get this show played.
Figure out how to make this happen.
Yes.
Like, at least give this some more airtime.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody can be convinced to, talk to TromaWorks about the license for this, like,
yes.
Dude,
yeah.
Like there's no reason in as we've talked about before. Like, we're living in now an environment where, with the number of networks there are, you can make money.
Yep.
Not, huge obscene killer money, but you can make a profit finding a niche and fulfilling the needs of that niche.
Yeah.
And, like, there are people who would watch this, who would totally be like, no, seriously, you've got to check this out.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And not only, Xers like you and me, but Zoomers.
Oh yeah.
Who'd be looking at this like, oh wait, hold on, this is a thing. Like, really? Like, there's no reason why this show, or really any of them that we've talked about. Well, okay, maybe the Tiger Sharks, because it was pretty derivative, but the others that we've talked about are all series that I think if somebody took a look at him and said, no, you know what? I can make that work. You could make that work
Oh, absolutely.
on Sci-Fi or on Cartoon Network or
Mhm.
somewhere. I think there's legitimate reason, and especially with something that's dealing with important enough topics like the environment, like
Yeah.
all the shit, like you talked about how much there was to attack in 1991. Like, how much more shit is there to attack in 2021?
Oh, and this show was so self-aware. It could just say, like, hey, didn't we deal with this in 1991?
Didn't
Clearly
we
we
talk about this,
didn't.
like 30 fucking years ago?
Yeah.
Like, how did this not get solved
And
yet?
then you would have somebody go, no, we didn't, and looking straight at the camera.
Yeah. And
So
the Zoomers that eat it the fuck up.
So I told you
because-
my favorite
yeah.
character was Major Disaster.
Yes.
Now here's why. He had the
Okay.
power to control plants. At some point, the show had some sort of toxic waste facility that was disastrously spilling toxins into the air, and nobody could figure out how to beat it. And Major Disaster used his power to lift it up and away, solving the problem at the end. Now, everybody looked at him askance, wondering how that had happened, and he calmly explained to everyone that he could control plants. And since it was a toxic waste plant,
wow,
that was therefore within his control, and everyone just accepted it, and that pun worked, and it's why it worked. And Psycho, the character who always talks, tells the bad guys, here's what's going to happen.
Yeah, here's what's going to happen.
He had predicted it almost letter perfect. He said, what if one of the Toxic Crusaders actually has a hidden ability in like the way that they can express their thing, and it can do exactly the thing that happened. But Dr. Killimoff, of course, didn't listen. The only flaw in his plan was the pun. So puns can save the planet.
And so you're sold.
That's right.
You're done. Game over.
But I remember in 1991 appreciating the shit out of that.
Okay.
My star was there.
It's pretty appreciable. I got to admit there is value in that. I look at that as kind of I don't know if callback is the right word, but you think about in folklore,
Mm-hmm.
the way language gets played with,
Yes.
and when heroes have special powers, special abilities, and whatever, and storytellers would make a living out of twists like that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Even without necessarily just being a pun.
Mm-hmm.
I like the kind of folklore. Well, turns out it was a plant.
Yeah.
And oh, well, okay, that works then, and everybody moves on.
Oh, it's so good.
Okay, all right, we're walking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I ain't even mad.
Yeah.
I feel no need to say good day, sir. I that works for me.
So
especially when you're dealing with something that is overtly satirical.
Yes.
I think
And self-aware.
Yeah, I think there's a real value in giving kids, because again, this was in 90, you said 91, 90, 91?
91. Yeah.
So we're still dealing with kind of later end of, because it was shortly after this that animation started to get a little bit more like you can be a grown up and watch certain cartoons.
Right.
But we're still dealing with animation ghetto. It's a kids medium kind of thing. And I think anybody who gives kids credit for being smart enough, savvy enough, whatever you want to say, to get the idea of satire,
Mm-hmm.
I think needs to be recognized for that.
I would agree.
Because I think there has always been, there continues to be, sadly, but it's a little bit less now. But I know in the 80s there was this assumption that, kids aren't necessarily going to get it, and the satire was always aimed at parents.
Right.
And the thing is, if you actually spend any time around kids, like being a public school teacher,
Mm-hmm.
you understand this in a way that other adults don't. Kids get satire.
Yes,
like
they do.
in some ways, I think they get it better than adults do.
Oh yeah.
like especially middle schoolers and early high schoolers, like are in that developmental zone where their bullshit detectors are on maximum sensitivity. And if you throw anything satirical at them, they're going to be like, "Oh my god,
Right.
grown-ups are all such fucking hypocrites, like holy shit."
Oh yeah.
And of course, as an adult, you recognize that, well, we're not always hypocrites. We just look like we're hypocrites because you're not quite old enough to understand what we're trying to tell you. And there is that going on. But like, if you want to point satire at a 13-year-old, like fucking do it, man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like they will eat it up.
Oh
and of any group that I think needs to be, if I were to change the media landscape in a meaningful way, one of the things I would want to do is be like, no, if you're going to do a show for 12 and 13-year-olds, because I'm teaching 7th and 8th graders, so this is my bailiwick. If you're going to do a series for 12 and 13-year-olds, like, no, don't talk fucking down to them.
Right.
Like, whatever you do, don't make the mistake of talking down to them. Assume they are, if not smarter than you think, assume they are savvier than you think, and run with it.
Yeah.
And they will eat it up, and what you will wind up creating will be far better for the effort.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I think a show like this one,
Toxic Crusaders,
Toxic Crusaders, because I want to go back to Toxic Avenger as the title, because I know that's the source material.
Right.
But yeah, a show like Toxic Crusaders, a show like take Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and make it a little bit less, I'm trying to think what the word is I'm looking for. Make it a little bit more subversive. Make it a little bit more satirical. Like up the level of that involved in it, and aim that at my students, and they will go ape shit.
Right.
Because if you talk to them in a way that recognizes their intelligence, they're going to love you for it, because not enough people do that. Like a huge reason that our friend Tessa and millennials are so desperately in love with SpongeBob SquarePants is because, like, when they were that age, it was talking to them in a way that was like, no, we're not going to talk down to you. We're going to be satirical and sarcastic, and we're going to do this stuff. And they're like, oh my God, these are my people. This is my language. Like, if producers of media for young people could figure that out and stick with it, I think they'd be doing the world a service, because sarcasm is kind of a tool in critical thinking.
Yeah, I agree. And subversion. And so I think if we look at the cartoons that you liked, that you wanted to see go on. They all had rich worlds. They all had archetypical characters.
Yes.
Two of which dealt with the sea, and one was post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
If we look at mine, they all had 13 episodes. They almost always dealt with ideas of identity.
Yeah.
And if they didn't, then they were all subversive.
I think it's interesting that mine are very earnest,
Yeah,
and yours lean in a direction of being subversive.
Mine are bratty as fuck.
Well, but there's an earnestness in being bratty too.
There can be.
There's
certainly a purity to it.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. There's a straightforwardness to it that like there's so much like no, I mustn't do that restraint involved in being polypure heart. That like
Right.
It's very liberating not to have to worry about that. But yeah, I think it does say an awful lot about the two of us, what it is that what we chose. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Well, we've given people 2 episodes of fantastic recommendations, probably easily found on YouTube.
Oh, all of them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I know for a fact, Thundar the Barbarian and Tiger Sharks can
Yeah.
be found on YouTube. I'm not as sure about Pirates of Dark Water, but I think parts of it can. However, I do know the Pirates of Dark Water got a DVD release, at least.
Nice.
Even though it deserves a 3rd fucking season. Cartoon Network, Hanna-Barbera, get on it. Let us know how the story ends, even if you have to cast other voice actors.
Mm-hmm.
Except Hector Elizondo. Keep Hector Elizondo for the love
Bring him
of
back.
God. Keep
Bring him
Hector
back.
Elizondo, because holy crap.
Yeah.
But everybody else, you can, if you need to, you can change them out. But yeah.
Cool. Well, where can people find you on social medias if they want to discuss editing ideas?
I can be found on Twitter as EH Blaylock. I can be found on Instagram as EH Blaylock. I can be found on TikTok as Mr. Blaylock, because that's how I introduce myself to my students. And of course, the two of us collectively can be found on Twitter at Geek History Time. And if they want to correct you about some point of lore with the Toxic Crusaders, where can they find you?
You can find me at DaHarmony, 2 H's in the middle, on the Twitter and the Insta. And like Ed said, you can find us at Geek History Time. You can also find this podcast on Stitcher, Spotify, as well as the Apple podcast app. And we would love it if you would please go rate, subscribe, review. Let us know what you think, especially if it's got the 5 stars. That gets our Q factor up and it allows your friends to share it with you more often.
Por favor.
Yes, we would love it if you would please rate, subscribe, and review. But otherwise, you can find me at on Tuesday nights at twitch.tv/capital puns, slinging puns all over the place. And then there's the occasional contest throughout the world that I'm a part of sometimes. So, yeah. So, for Geek History of Time, rate, subscribe, and review, please. I'm Damian Harmony.
And I'm Ed Blaylock. And until next time, Lords of Light.